So, Jess, why did you become a realtor?
I worked in various customer service jobs, so I wanted something a little bit more rewarding. Becoming a real estate agent, being able to help people find their forever homes or their investment homes, starter homes. It's very exciting, so a lot of fun.
Now, you've gotten off to a really good start in your real estate career. What has been the most rewarding part of this for you so far?
Helping people, especially like first-time home buyers, finding their first home. They're so excited. I'm so excited to help them. So it's a nice, rewarding part.
What is it that you think makes you different than other real estate agents?
I think that my various roles in customer service has helped me. So I like to ask a lot of questions and I want to know what I'm doing. So I think that helps a lot because I'm not going to steer people the wrong way. I'm going to make sure they have knowledgeable decisions and help them find the right home.
Last thing I'm going to ask you is, and I know these are words that you live by, but the mantra at CTBB Realty is?
People over paychecks and do the damn thing.
And that's what we do.
The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the GMen every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Drawing About the GMen, the Giants football podcast. I'm Big Jace, joined by Joe Guire, King Zay, and Sean Scanlon. It's just misery once again, over and over again. Giants lose to the Bears. We were talking about a little bit before in the pre-show. Like last year, this time meant something. When the Giants had a chance to get into the playoffs, now it's just nothing. And, it's a mess. Joe Judge, despicable. I hope he leaves. I just hope they just pull the plug on Gettleman and Judge at the same time. Just blow everything up, start from ground zero. It's disgusting. But, Joe, you want to continue your rant from the beginning from the pre-show about Joe Judge?
Yeah, listen, they announced he was coming back, and he had two things to do. Not embarrass himself, and he failed in both counts. As if losing 29-3 wasn't bad enough, rather than own it like a big boy, he went on that idiotic tirade and I think has lost all credibility with everybody. So I don't know how you move forward with this guy now. And I was fine with them giving it one more go next year, healthy, with a couple of high draft picks. Let's see what happens. But I've been saying it all season long. He's a disciplinarian and a motivator, and yet they're a sloppy team that can't win. So what does this guy bring to the table other than delusional rants? I appreciate you don't want to throw players under the bus. That doesn't mean you have to sound like a total moron. That was embarrassing, and they gave him an opportunity the next day to recant or express regret or remorse for that 11 minutes of moronic gibberish, and he doubled down on it. Idiot. You gotta go. You aren't made for this. You're not made for the New York market. You're not a Bill Belichick. This guy shows nothing. Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick, you know what made them special is they knew how to handle the media. That's what the great coaches do. Think about Bobby Knight. Think about Coach K. Think about coaches that are successful. They know how to handle the media. Think about Jimmy Boeheim at Syracuse. How many scandals have they had at Syracuse? Holy smokes. The last 8 years, what's the team been? His kids, pretty much. That's what's going on there. Some people are cut out for the market. Some people are not. This guy's not. He says stupid things. And it's a fair question to ask. I mean, listen, you do a press conference after the game. I don't even, who's the guy that was like, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Whoever that guy was.
Marshawn.
Idiot. Another clown who didn't, his career would have gone differently if he knew how to deal with the media.
I think he worked out. He ended up.
I don't know about
His
that one.
career would have been better. He was a great football player, and I don't think he's regarded as one because of his opposition to the media.
Marshall, what?
I would've
He
got
beast
that far.
mode?
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
That's
but
crazy talk,
That's
but okay.
I get what you're saying
Pete
about Joe.
Carroll
gotta remember,
will forever
Joe-
live in infamy
listen,
for
You
not
gotta remember,
giving Marshawn
Joe is from a
Lynch the
different
football.
generation. Joe's from a different generation.
I love it.
Marshawn might not have had the same impact on Joe that he had for us growing up. So that's why Joe sees it differently. I hear you, Joe. You don't see him as a superstar. He didn't grow up with Marshawn Lynch as the running back he watched growing up. So we did. And that's why we've seen it differently. That play in Seattle, that play against the Saints was huge to us. For Joe, it was probably just a guy breaking some more tackles. He's seen it once before, a million times. But for us, that was different. So I got you, Joe.
Love the beast mode thing. Again, I think he's a great running back. I think he would have been more heralded in regards to his reputation if he would have played things differently. Again, this isn't about Marshawn Lynch. This is about people who are delusional. This is about people like Antonio Brown. Like what I think what Joe Judge did is worse than what Antonio Brown did.
I agree.
I mean, for a couple things. I mean, we know Antonio Brown has mental issues. He's talked about it. No one's. Whoa, really? Everyone's aware of this.
No, it's
But
not. It's not.
But they sent him away now. He's gone. The difference between Joe Judge and Antonio Brown is Joe Judge still has a job. This is not the first time where we've been like taking his press conference after the game and been like, what is this guy talking about? What game was this guy watching? I love what I saw out there tonight. From who? What are you talking about?
I know, and it's frustrating because look at that. Antonio Brown obviously had issues with the Bucks, so you can obviously put that. But the thing with Joe Judge is he's got these delusional, the Mara delusion with him that think the Giants are still good and they still have a future. But,
I agree with you.
It's
Jason's
a
right.
mess.
By the way, I love Jimmy Boeheim. I didn't mean to disparage him in any way. I'm just again. I think if you know how to handle the media, the New York media, I think you can last a really long time. This guy's proven that he can't. He says stupid things every week where we're like, huh?
But I think what Jason was saying was when Antonio Brown acts out, at least he's a superstar receiver. We know the talent behind Antonio Brown. He's at least talented. Joe Judge, you act stupid in the media. You don't want to talk to people. You say delusional things, but you haven't done anything in this league. At least when Belichick and Parcells does it, they were already Super Bowl champion winning coaches before they moved on to these new teams. So they already probably Belichick is probably one of the greatest defensive coaches of all time, if not, so he has that to go with it. Joe Judge is nothing, and it's similar to who they Josh McDaniels when he was up there in the Broncos. He left, turned out to be nothing, and then he ended up going back to the Patriots and did nothing there for them. Now he's not even in the league. You look at Matt Patricia, another one of his coach. He's not in the league, a guy who wanted to imitate Bill Belichick, and it looks like we're going to have a similar situation with Joe Judge, where he's going to be another one of these guys that wanted to imitate Bill Belichick and are not coaching no longer in the league. The problem is you have to build your own identity before you can be someone else or try to imitate someone else. And Joe Judge didn't do that. Who is Joe Judge? What is the Giants? The Giants don't have an identity. What do they do well? They don't even play defense well anymore.
Right. 1,000,000%. No identity. And by the way, Antonio Brown hasn't been released because the Bucks fear someone else will sign him.
No, that's
the only reason.
Antonio,
and I think something about he might file a grievance or some nonsense. So
yeah, he's Antonio Brown has a
done.
gripe. He's got a gripe, and I'll get to that later because obviously we know the debacle I picked last week. So we'll get to that later.
Antonio Brown's a whole different. But let's get back to the Giants. Sean, who's going to start? I mean, now we have Daniel Jones with his neck stuff. Now you got Mike Glennon. It's just, what do you think of that whole situation? Regarding not just Joe Judge, this whole team is just a mess right now.
I just can't wait for this regular season to be over so I don't have to watch this Giants offense anymore. I mean, from the first play last week, Mike Glennon gets strip sacked, and then the Bears score right after that. It's just the way the Giants offense has been for the past 2 months. It's a struggle for them to even get to double-digit points. It's ridiculous to watch. You watch offenses. You watch the Chiefs-Bengals game last week where they have 2 young stud quarterbacks. They're scoring points left and right in a shootout, and you're like, the Giants are in the same league as these two teams. It doesn't seem real. We're light years away on offense from being a team that could contend in this league. Even when we had our starter in Daniel Jones, he did a lot better than these 2 clowns that we have now, but we're still a bad offense. So it's tough to watch. This season, I didn't think it'd get any worse than, the way it ended with Ben McAdoo and ended with Pat Shurmur. And especially after, we saw some good signs last year with Joe Judge, I was like, okay, we're headed in the right direction. But this year, it literally went all downhill, and I think it's right up there with as bad as it was in 2017 and in 2019. It's just an absolute disaster. If you have to come out and say this isn't a clown show organization, then you're damn right that it's a clown show organization if you have to try and defend that it's not. He runs it so bad. It's just a terrible operation. He sounded desperate in that whole press conference, like a guy that knows that, he's on the hot seat, and which I think is right, because you shouldn't be, given that clearance that you're going to be back next year when you haven't proven anything this year that proves that you should be. So I'm hoping that, the Mariners do one right thing and kind of change their mind. And if Dave Gettleman's gone, you might as well send Joe Judge with them, because it's not going anywhere at this point. You don't want to force Joe Judge, some idiot head coach like Joe Judge, upon a new general manager. It's just going to hurt your candidate or search. So, just really can't wait for the season to be over. Can't wait for the playoffs to come around. So watch some actual good football. I watched the Giants-Bears game last week in the 1:00 slate when there were a bunch of other good games on that, I was pissed. I had Red Zone on, but I was watching the Giants for some odd reason. I'll do it again this week because I love the Giants, but can't wait for it to be over, and hopefully next year brings us some better luck, because it is not looking great right now.
Well, I'll have you know, I wasn't even able to watch the game because they didn't carry it here. So I was spared. I was spared from having to watch this monstrosity. I feel very fortunate for that.
Yeah, Sean, you literally reminded me, and I forgot to even bring it up. The Giants was so bad that game. They couldn't wait to get rid of the ball. Joe Judge, the special teams coach, on the opening kickoff, they literally watched the ball hit the floor and almost gave it to the other team, and the Giants almost didn't even have a first possession. That's how bad this team was. They couldn't wait to get rid of the ball. So it was just fitting that they fumbled on the second play. So I'm glad you brought that up. And Joe, I'm in New York. They cut the game off with 4 minutes left in the game. The Giants were so bad.
What?
They switched to a whole nother game. I was watching a Dave & Buster's, and whoop.
Oh, wow.
They switched it off. I think it was the Chargers game they switched it to or something like that. I was like, I couldn't believe this. In New York.
Deservingly so.
Good for them.
That's crazy. Wow. So man, bad.
It's never happened.
That's what happens. You know what that happens to? That happens to a clown organization.
That does. A clown show.
I've seen teams go 0-16 that hasn't happened to where they've cut the game off before it ended. I've never seen that before. That was the first time I've ever seen that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mess, and it's going to continue to be a mess. Like I mentioned, we don't know who the QB is going into this week.
You know who the winner in all this is going to end up being?
Eli Manning.
Patrick Graham.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I like
I hope
that.
he stays around. one of the only good coaches on
I
the
wouldn't
staff.
be surprised if he
This is-
doesn't end up as the head coach of the Giants.
It's his dream job. He says staying in New York was his dream job. That's why he hasn't left for any other head
Well-
coaching job. He's been offered them. He hasn't left.
But does Mara just have something against defensive coordinators? Because Spags was like that too. I feel like he should have definitely gotten more of a shot.
An opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, look at him now with the Chiefs.
Yeah, so I honestly think Mara that might be another problem with Mara.
He's an idiot.
Yeah,
Delusional. Sell the team already.
it's
Enough.
I swear all New York franchises say the same thing. Sell the team. This is just a common song. Sell the team.
There's one problem though with this Giants team that has been a constant throughout this horrible tenure, and it's John Mara making boneheaded decisions left and right. And you have to point back to it because every GM that comes through, every head coach that comes through, all the players that come through, there's one constant, and there's been one constant while we've been terrible this whole time, and it's John Mara sitting up there with his thick skull, and he can't get it through his head that you can't run things like we're an old school, oh, it's just the old Giants way. No, you have to upgrade with the times. Obviously, he doesn't get that, and that's why the Giants have been so bad for so long now. And it's not going to change anytime soon as long as he's up there making these dumb decisions and doesn't, change with the way the NFL is moving to.
Well, the Steelers don't change. And that's the same family, basically. And the Steelers really don't change much of what they do. And it seems to work out for them.
They also have one of the best coaches in the NFL, and Mike Tomlin.
That also, too, is granted.
That helps.
They just know how to find great coaches. And
Mike Tomlin, who also deserves an award for having Antonio Brown for all those years without a trip up. He deserves an award. And Le'Veon. Yeah, somebody give that man an award.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's frustrating now. And then, like I mentioned at the top of the show, last year, it was fun. Week 17. The Giants have an opportunity. They're on that table when you're watching the game. They say, oh, they need this and that to happen to get into the playoffs. It was fun. But now we're back to just nothing. Just cool. A game against Washington. That's all right. With either Jake Fromm.
Oh, you guys must be thrilled to have Jake Fromm. I know you guys were all chomping at the bit for some Fromm action. And here you go. Let him feast on Washington. This will be great.
In Jake's Fromm defense, that offense that they gave him was not that was a terrible offense they put out there. That was a terrible game plan. It wasn't. I don't even understand it. The week before when he came in relief of Mike Glennon, was better offensive calling than the game that he started. I don't understand what's going on there. I don't.
Dude, I know from with Freddie Kitchens, whenever Freddie Kitchens take over, it feels like he only knows how to call one type of play. Like it was just 40, have Mike Glennon drop back 40 times and just keep slinging the football. Then you got this game where let's just give it to Saquon Barkley the whole game. Oh, and 21 carries for Saquon. Oh, Devontae Booker, you can get 20 carries as well. Like it's ridiculous. It's just a mess.
I can't wait till the Cowboys lose in the first round. I hate Jared and I hate Sanders. I can't wait till they lose in the first round.
So we can all sit. You just said that. Oh my god!
I can't wait till we're all sitting here in misery together.
At least the Cowboys will always be the Cowboys. We'll always have that.
I'll sleep better too. When the Eagles and the Cowboys eliminated from playoffs, I'll sleep better. I hope.
I don't follow this. I am afraid that the Giants will turn out to be the Browns and draft another quarterback. As in what? You wanted them to stick with Johnny Manziel? What are you saying? Explain yourself.
No, look at the Browns. I mean, this would be.
The Browns were in the playoffs last year.
That's true.
They should have been in the playoffs this year, honestly. So I'd take the Browns right now over what I've seen with the Giants this year. I'd rather have watched the Browns all year than watch the Giants. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that sucks to say, but yeah.
That's not an insult. That's not an insult anymore, I guess.
But, well, I mean, I get what Ovi's kind of saying. Look at how many first-round draft picks they used on QBs until Baker was good enough.
We used one quarterback in the last 4 years, and we should have done that. I think we should have rolled out Eli 2 more years and waited on Hibbert, but who cares? I mean, like I said, if we had waited and rolled out Eli 2 more years and we sucked, would we have noticed the difference?
We did.
I'm just saying, if we had sucked for 2 more years,
Yeah.
it would have been the same story. You should have just kept Eli for 2 more years and got Hibbert in the draft. We were stupid. We make dumb decisions. It's just what it is.
How about passing on Justin Fields? That's awesome.
Justin Fields wasn't supposed to be nothing. Mac Jones.
We had this conversation.
Tua.
Yeah.
It's always worth bringing it up quick, though, isn't it?
Justin Fields is the same as Daniel Jones.
What?
The same.
Justin Fields is playing in a playoff. In his
We did this conversation.
How are they?
They're virtually identical, as my man Mike Goldberg would say on Bellator.
Wow.
But no, yeah, they are. They're very mobile. They're good.
Everyone hates this take, Chase. Continue.
One is playing in the playoffs.
I don't-
And one isn't.
I kinda- I agree.
virtually identical.
Playoffs. No one's playing in the. Justin Fields is not
I
playing.
mean, not Justin
in
Fields. Excuse me. I'm thinking of Jalen Hurts. Excuse me. Whew. Justin Fields. I'm sorry.
Let me ask you guys a question. Let's play a game real quick. Which quarterback could do something with the Giants as currently constructed? If Russell Wilson was on this team, would the Giants score points?
Yes.
More than they do now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Russell
How many
Wilson-
more points? What do you think they'd be averaging as a team if Russ was in charge?
At least double digits.
At least 20 with Galladay. I'll give him that. At least 20 with Galladay. Russell Wilson
All
can
right.
throw the ball. He's a magician with the
At
ball.
least double digits.
I give
Yeah.
him that.
At least
How
2
about-
touchdowns a game.
How about Ryan Tannehill?
No. Ryan
No.
Tannehill, is a glorified Daniel Jones.
Okay, so it's somewhere between there. Like, how about Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think so. But
I think Tom Brady would need the
Yeah,
protection.
you got to give him the.
I think
Well,
Aaron
he
Rodgers
needs
could
protection,
Tom
but
I think
Brady.
Aaron
How
Rodgers
about Josh Allen,
yes.
Sure.
Because
he's a better Daniel Jones.
Lamar Jackson?
Sure. I mean, no one's catching the ball anyway. Might as well just have him run all over the
I
place.
don't-
Yeah, see what I'm saying? Like, who? I wouldn't wish this on my worst quarterback enemy. You know what I mean?
It's
I-
definitely not a good offense to.
I don't,
be a part
I
of.
think like Aaron Rodgers, Pat Mahomes, maybe they could do something with this. I don't know if a lot of guys could. That's how the problem is that like you said it, Sean. I mean, like they struggle to just like run plays and sustain any sort of anything at any point. And I can't imagine that's just overall incompetence at every level of player. I mean, it's insanity. It really is. So again, does it boil down to is this a coaching issue? I don't understand this. To watch the Giants play, I feel anger. I get angry. I'm like, what? Like, I don't even know what you're doing. I don't understand. I mean, I watch every other team just slants, runs, guys break it off, and the Giants like into the line of scrimmage, a 1 yard run, incomplete pass, punt. You know that drive. It happens like 5 times a game.
True.
It's stunning that the Giants offense again, and you mentioned it again, Sean, in 2021, that the Giants offense can be so inept compared to what everybody else is doing. It's mind-blowing. And then you look at the talent and it's like, wow. But I mean, even the Browns, as bad as Baker Mayfield is, and I got to tell you, he is. Earlier today, somebody posted this great about how good Baker is and how many yards and touchdowns. And they're like, he averages 6 wins a game. And I was like, buddy, you might want to take that 6-win stat off there. I don't think that's building your case. Again, a bad Baker Mayfield with 2 bad shoulders still won 7 games. And the Giants can't even get 7 points. There's a problem.
7 points. We can't get 7 yards. I believe we had negative 10 yards last game or something like that in the stats. How do
I
you
should
have
have gone with
negative,
yards, passing yards. I had it. I blew it there. I
how
did
do
that. You
have
have me.
negative 10 passing yards? I don't even.
In the,
we
in
go
the
back-
NFL, hold on.
we
In
go
the
backwards?
NFL,
How does
in 2021, if this was like 1944 and they had negative 10 yards, you'd be like, all right, good.
he had the lowest QBR ever?
It's ridiculous. It's like what I said earlier. They can only call one type of play. You had the 40-yard passes. Now you're running the football all over the place. Like, where is mixing it? Aren't mixing it up. Aren't doing anything. It's so frustrating. And then, so my question to you, Joe, is in this Washington game, are they going to pass or run the football, the Giants?
Well, so I didn't watch the game last week, but I was following it on Gamecast, and I was like, oh, I love that Saquon's getting all these carries and Booker's getting his carries. And then I noticed that I think at that point, Glennon had thrown like 3 passes. And I thought, did they think that game the Patriots had was like a game plan? Like that was only for like, blizzard-like conditions, you moron. I know Mike Glennon sucks, but you still have to throw the football. It's the NFL. All of the rules are designed for you to throw the damn football.
It was ugly to watch. I don't mind what they did. Saquon played well, honestly.
I'm excited to see Sean, to see the final numbers, 100 yards. That feels great. What did I say? I said I wanted them to use him as a workhorse the last 2 weeks, and let's either establish value or make sure that this guy's good to go next year. You saw it. Maybe you could speak on that.
I mean, yeah, they ran the Wildcat a couple of times. Their best drive of the game, they took Mike Glennon just completely. He was just handing off the ball most of the time. I think they only passed the ball one time, and they even got into a 3rd and long. And I think it was 3rd and 10. They wouldn't even pass it then. They took the ball out of Mike Glennon's hands, which actually the Giants looked somewhat competent when they did because Saquon looked good. The O-line was terrible in pass protection, but run blocking wise, they actually made some nice holes. Saquon looked good, so. The running game looked okay. They stuck to your game plan of just giving Saquon the workload, and it was probably honestly his best game of the season. He actually looked like old Saquon a little bit. He didn't look hesitant at the line. He was kind of running into contact. It looks like some power football. So I think that's the only way we put up any type of points because you got to take the point.
Take here from Jared Jones, by the way. What I said was I didn't want Mike Glennon to throw 44 times. That didn't mean only throw it 4 times this week. There's a balance. Only a Cowboys fan would not understand a balance. It's gotta balance out. Come on, Jared.
But the thing I like you said, Saquon looked great, but Devontae Booker 18 carries as well. Like you can't have 2 workhorses. Well, you can't have 2 workhorses unless you're the Browns, maybe. But you can't have that.
I'd rather take that than seeing Mike Glennon throw the ball.
Yeah, and their defense, like he said, the running backs look good. And I believe the second drive, the Giants threw an interception. Mike Glennon threw an interception on like his second throw. And I think it was like, look, just run the ball. He can't do anything. It was bad. But what do you think through Saquon's injuries the last 2 years, Judge could see? No.
So he would have. No. He was saved. They told him he was coming back, and then that happened. That insanity thing happened. And like I said, he had another day to retract it, and he doubled down. So bye.
Yeah.
He totally got a pass, dude. All he had to do was, this is Dave Gettleman. Just hide behind Dave Gettleman, dude. He's getting the brunt of all the hate. All Joe Judge had, he should have just been like, what can I do with this lineup that Gettleman gave me? And he should have walked right out. That should have been it. Should have been the whole press conference. Guys have questions about how bad this team is? Talk to Gettleman. You know what a jackass he is. And he would have walked out a hero with a job for next year.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the people he's thrown under the bus. I'm not surprised Joe Judge hasn't gone after Gettleman.
I would, dude. He's gone. He's like totally
That's
fired,
how he's coming
dude.
back. That's how he's going to come back next season, is if he goes after Gettleman in this post-game press conference.
I suggest he start with that. This is all Gettleman's fault. I was against Mike Glennon from the beginning. He forced
Gettleman don't help. Gettleman don't make bad decisions on the field. Gettleman don't mismanage timeouts. You know, Gettleman doesn't make the offensive calls and defensive calls. He doesn't do none of that.
I mean, have you ever seen – I think the Giants lead the league in first quarter timeouts for no reason.
Yeah.
You know, other than like just
100%.
general like incompetence, like, oh, the play clock's running out. Like, do you and again, this is why I say, like, Joe Judge, the disciplinarian, like Joe Judge, the motivator. How is that happening? How do they never have timeouts? Also, they've been outscored 96-0 going into the half.
Yeah.
What?
Look,
It's a mess.
bro,
No, and again, over the last 2 years, how many times have I said this? With 2 minutes left in the half, the Giants never do anything, right? Ever. And you give anybody, you give the Lions 44 seconds on the clock from their own 5, and they're throwing it down the field. Not the Giants. A couple of Saquon 1-yard runners, and then you kneel down. I'll never understand why again, especially when you're a terrible football team. Like, if there's a time to throw the football down the field, I don't know, 30 seconds left in the half. Chuck it down there. Gets picked at the 30-yard line. Great. They got 70 yards to go in 30 seconds. Take your chances then. They don't take chances, and they just continue to lose. And it's like, well, you could have at least taken a chance and maybe you wouldn't have lost or by 1,000,000 points again. I don't know. Frustrating.
It's the just constant old school mentality throughout the whole Giants organization. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absurd. It even trickles onto the field in the play calling, and it's absurd. The only way you can win like that is if you have like the best defense in the league, maybe, but not even.
Well, he coaches like he thinks he does.
That is,
and
true.
I appreciate that he believes in his team that much, that he constantly wants to put that defense in spots where they have to like save the game or save it from getting blown open. And we've talked about that. I mean, you can't ask this defense to constantly bail you out by your coaching incompetence on offense.
The first 5 minutes of that game, the Giants watched the ball hit the ground on a kickoff. That almost was a turnover. Fumbled the ball and gave the ball to the other team. Got the ball back and then threw an interception and gave it right back to them at the 20. What more? This is
first minute and a half.
But not a clown
it wasn't
show.
Even 30 seconds off the clock before the Giants were losing. They couldn't wait to lose. They couldn't wait to lose.
They couldn't help themselves.
Boy, that does sound like something only a clown show organization could do. All that in the first $1.30, huh? Nice.
We are
way to show how disciplined your team is right out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean, the more I think the more we talk about the Giants at this point, we will turn into a clown show.
Let's talk about good football then.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Let's take a break. Let's recoup after that. Hear a word from our sponsors, then we'll talk about some good football. So stay tuned.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but you don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? And how often do you think about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies, doing the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident with your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website or give us a call at 860-430-5397.
All right, and now going from a terrible, how do you advance a 4-12 Giants team? Going from them talking about the Super Bowl predictions, last week of the season. Who's going to get to the Super Bowl, Joe?
The same team I said before last season started. No, I'm just joking. It's going to be a repeat of last year's Super Bowl. It's going to be the Chiefs and the Bucks. I think those teams probably both end up based on just the way their teams are playing, drawn off their playoff experience. I think those teams will ultimately face off in the Super Bowl.
All right. Zay, who you got? You're speechless, bro.
Sorry, my fault. Yeah, I got Colts Green Bay. Sorry for that one.
Ooh.
I think Aaron Rodgers, like I said in the beginning of the season, I said Aaron Rodgers put up a fit because he was going to put on a show this year, go out on a championship, and then go to another team and stick it to Green Bay. And here he is with the number 1 seed. The NFC has to go through Green Bay, which, I mean, it could be done, but it's not one of the easiest places to play when it gets cold. So I could see that happening. And obviously the Colts being one of the best teams in the AFC recently, I think they can continue that trend. Jonathan Taylor, in my opinion, is probably the MVP of the league, but we know that never goes to running backs. So Aaron Rodgers will be MVP. And I think those two teams could see it. And I'd like to see some new teams play. I'm tired of seeing Brady and the GOATs or whatever the hell you want to call them. I want to see some new people get an opportunity. So I'd like to see, Colts, Green Bay. Well, obviously Rodgers isn't new, but whatever. Different teams.
That's a hot take with the Colts. I mean, especially after a loss to the Raiders, who my best bet.
Look, losses happen during the season, bro. You'll regroup. You'll get ready for the season, for the playoffs. It happens, bro. You can't win.
They had won a lot of games in a row. I mean, they were due to lose a game. Then they're still in fine position, so I wouldn't worry about that at all.
We'll see. I mean, it should be interesting. Sean, what you got?
I got the Packers and the Chiefs. I agree with Zay. I think the Packers will actually get over the hump this year in the NFC Championship. They love nothing more than losing the NFC Championship game, but I think that they'll get it done this year. I think that they have an opportunistic defense. They have a good pass rush. They have a good secondary, and then obviously Aaron Rodgers in that offense. He's been without some of his best offensive linemen all year, and they're without 3 of their best players in Jair Alexander, Zadarius Smith, and David Bakhtiari. If they get any one of those 3, it will help already the best team in the NFL, and they only have to win 2 games in Lambeau to advance. So I think that they'll go from the NFC, and all right, Ovi. And then the Chiefs for the AFC. I think that this team, their defense has finally come around. Their pass rush is getting there. And then Patrick Mahomes, they have experience, obviously. They've been in the AFC mix for the past 3 or 4 years now. And I think that they'll be able to get it done with weapons like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. I think they'll be tough to beat. But the one team that I wouldn't sleep on the AFC is the Titans. They've been disrespected all year. They're the number 1 seed right now. They have to
not by me.
Hold on.
I know.
We can do a dark horse? I didn't know we could do a dark horse.
I'm just saying. They just designated Derrick Henry. Your dark horse is the Colts, all right?
I want to get in on. That is your dark horse.
No, my dark horse
I'm getting in on Sean's dark horse, though.
I still think the Bengals have a chance of anyone. I think they put on a show last week against the Chiefs and proved to the league that they are here. I'm telling you, the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's just Jared.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jared. That's not
Cowboys. I'm sorry. You could have said any other team. The Cowboys was the absolutely wrong answer. Like, you could have said any other team, and we'd be like, The Cowboys, no.
Yeah, but the Titans, they just got Derrick Henry back, so I wouldn't sleep on them.
Yeah, that's true. But I none of my teams you guys said. I got from what I got the Cardinals
Giants
against the Bills. Cardinals against the Bills.
Bills, maybe.
The Bills.
Yes.
No, the Bills are donezo.
No. I think Josh Allen's gonna start lighting it up. I think he's gonna get into prime form, get going, and also that defense is underrated. And I know at the beginning of the season they were a lot better than they are now. I think they kick it back into gear and get going there. And I think we get to see a little bit more of the Bills. I think both these teams.
Isn't their defense ranked? Isn't it literally ranked first? So
yeah,
I would say, if anything, I would say it's slightly overrated.
No, I mean they struggled. No, they were good the first half. They have struggled so far in the past, and also, I mean, they do have to get that run game going. But Singletary looked good last week. I think he can ride a little bit here. As far as the Cardinals go, they might also be getting D-Hop back, which, I mean, you talk about Derrick Henry's impact, D-Hop as well. That should be interesting. But also, I mean, they won a big game last week, very banged up. This team's been playing very banged up and doing very well. I mean, talk about the Colt McCoy wins. So they've been playing great all year, and I think it's going to continue even in the playoffs. I think they're going to turn it into another gear and continue to roll. And I'm with Ovi. I mean, as far as Rodgers goes, he's been terrible in the playoffs. He always gets the NFC Championship. and loses it. I don't think with him having all this stuff happen in the offseason and him possibly leaving the Packers next year, I don't think that's going to help it at all. I still think he's going to choke it in the NFC Championship to the Cardinals.
Choke
And
it.
then Cardinals
To the
Bills.
Cardinals? Of
Yes.
all teams?
Wait, what is
All right,
what,
stop
what
the
do you
show.
mean by choke it?
Wait, to the Cardinals? He's going to lose to the Cardinals?
He's
in the
been
NFC
playing
Championship?
great all year,
Wait,
and then he's going to do bad and lose.
Why are you bringing up Ben Roethlisberger and Deshaun Watson at a time like this?
Wait.
Jeez.
Oh, brother.
Did you see Aaron Rodgers last week? He might have thrown two of the greatest passes
He
I've ever seen.
always looks this great,
He threw
and
the
then
ball.
when it comes to the
Hold
NFC
on.
Championship, he chokes it away,
He
gives
threw
it
the
away.
ball in Devontae Adams' hands, and he didn't even have to move his hand. It was one of the greatest passes I've ever seen. And this man is locked in. I don't think you understand. And he only has to win 2
People were
games.
saying this last year.
He only has to win 2 games, pinky toe and all.
People
He
were
only has to
saying
win
this
2 games.
last year when he won MVP, man. And then what happened?
That's a
He's
different
gonna win
situation.
MVP again. No, I think this is the year they get over the hump. I agree with Zay.
It's a different
They've
situation.
been the best team in the NFL all year, ever since that Week 1 loss. They've been the most consistent team. I don't know. They're overall the best team in the NFL.
Longer playoffs. They're going to be one of the fresher teams in the playoffs. When you add that into it, I don't know, bro. I don't want to face them, son. I'm sorry.
I do think this year is definitely a lot more open than
I was
previous
yeah.
years.
I was just gonna say that. I think this is the most wide open it's been in probably a couple years.
Hey, we only had 2 repeats, or I don't know. Like,
I think we all picked something different.
Yeah, I think yeah.
What are you laughing at, Joe?
he's just reading the comments.
He's reading the comments.
The comments on this show, by the way, are worth the price of admission. If for no other reason than the great comments in here, you should watch this show. Sean's great analysis. Zay giving us his in-depth sight, having been a quarterback in the day.
Oh yeah.
Jace giving us the
Oh,
sense of what the football's like for Joe Judge with his delusional takes. I like it.
Okay.
Who you got winning this week, Jace?
The Giants.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you what.
Yes, sir. He's picking
You
the
do?
Giants over the Skins.
Hold
I
on.
love it.
Let's get.
Man.
I'll get to that. Don't worry. But best bets. Let's go. Shawnee boy got a push. He could have made it interesting, but
Freaking Matt Ryan.
I love how he gave Sean a push that way. No, Sean is on his side with the pushes. We're not gonna
Yep.
get into that.
Now with the push going forward.
yeah, I mean it's a tie.
I'm not the only one to push.
It's not a loss.
All right, I'm just mad. I'm just hating. Don't worry about me. I'm just
Yeah.
hating.
I'll tell you what I do,
6-11.
Ovi. I don't pick best bets very well or fantasy locks. That's what I don't do.
All right.
Shout out to the
Speaking of
Jets for
which-
keeping their load.
Joe, I mean, you did okay with your best bet last week, the Titans. You're sticking in the AFC South, the Jags.
Yeah. Listen, I think right now the Jaguars are playing for pride's sake. So I feel like they're going to give it a go here. The Colts are obviously going to pound the football with Jonathan Taylor. I'm sure he's going to have a big day. I just think they can keep it within 15 points. And so I'm taking the points. I think this is a Jacksonville team that's trying to play for Coach Blevins. You know what I mean? I think for them to pull off a miracle victory or at least make it competitive enough where, again, I think they keep it within 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
I don't hate that.
Interesting. I mean,
They've won some games they shouldn't have won of late. I mean, I think there's every reason
I'm
to
with
think,
you.
especially when the Colts play down, they play down to their opposition. The Colts don't generally go for the throat. They had a chance a couple weeks ago against the Texans, and they didn't do it. And I don't suspect they're going to do it with the Jaguars. So take the points.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. If anything that improved the Giants draft spot.
I want them to win so bad, dude. Yes. Go Texans.
No,
Go
we did the first pick.
Jags.
Don't screw it up.
All right. And I mean, speaking of the Giants, Zay and Sean.
I thought
Both
Sean
thought.
froze for a minute. He was just angry. I don't know if it was at my pick or
What?
You all right?
Sounds like he's sick or
Dude,
something.
the
He
look
just
on
tried
his
to talk.
face for a minute, I was like, oh, I think Sean hates that I'm taking the points.
No,
You
I
all
said
right with
I
that?
don't hate that pick.
Oh, all right, good. All right, good, cool. And you two are both doing this.
Yeah, I should have done this weeks ago.
-7.
I should have done this weeks ago and just win against the Giants every damn week. If I knew they weren't going to score no points, I would have been up. I'd be winning this best bet thing.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Ovi says 37-6.
I wouldn't be surprised. I honestly wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't shock us at this point.
Well, again, I'll be honest. Them losing to Chicago 29-3 did not shock me in the slightest. And the Bears are not a good football team, but they are leaps and bounds better than the Giants are today.
Yeah, Washington literally just has to score 13 points to make sure that they get this, and that will be easy to do, especially with the amount of time that they'll be on the field. Shouldn't be hard because the Giants aren't scoring more than 3 points. So
Washington just got to make sure they get dressed and get on the field.
Something to three.
Yeah.
It's a joke, and I'm with that joke. I got Washington at the Giants.
38?
I'm going under 38.
The Giants are going to score 3 and watch this guy
score
35-3. 35-3. Watch.
I got 12-9. Let's go.
12-9.
Yeah.
Field goal.
If you think the Giants are nailing 3 field goals in the same game, you got another thing coming. I don't know.
I got the Giants to win it, Joe.
Seattle and Seattle scored 51 and the Patriots scored 50 points last week, and the Giants scored 49 in the last 5 games combined.
Yeah,
pretty good.
It's rough.
Yeah, I had a bunch of those stats too, but I wasn't going to beat up on the Giants no more. This is as bad.
No, I feel like throwing them out there now, making me feel better.
All right, let's get on to fantasy locks. Another thing, I'm just winning and dominating. It's over at this point. I mean, those were some good picks, I guess.
Shut up.
Zay,
hold on.
Zay, when he moonwalked off the field, like, what were you thinking there as far as your fantasy lock? You're like, he's not coming back, is he?
Yeah, no, that was a tough situation to watch as the Giants game was unraveling and they cut it off. That for some reason the Jets game was obviously still on. That was actually a pretty good game, and there goes the one thing I could have actually won on the show. It walked off the field with Antonio Brown. Never in my life would I ever thought I would have picked 2 players to basically retire themselves back to back, and Jake Fromm and Antonio Brown, 2 players who will never see the field in NFL again. I don't even think Jake Fromm is going to start this week. I think that's how bad he is. They'll bring a guy in off the streets to play before him. So, yeah, that was a really bad. I mean, I didn't see it coming. But in respect, he had a gripe. Like I said, they cut him before he did all that. He was supposedly cut. He didn't want to go in. He had an ankle injury. And Bruce Arians wanted him to go in. He was like, no. Arians said, if you ain't going in, you're cut. Get off my field. And he said, all right, you want me off my field? Here's your crap. And he left like that. And that's how we got to where we are today. So.
Yeah, but he's still not actually cut, I guess, or whatever. But,
yes, because Arians was lying according to people. And he was lying to people in the press conference when he told them that he was no longer a part of the team also.
It's
we don't have to be cut to not be part of the team. Look at I hate to bring him up again, but Deshaun Watson. He's on the Texans. He just isn't on the Texans.
Brady wants him back enough. Brady will get him. They're down enough in the playoff at halftime. Brady,
dude, again, if the Buccaneers were to waive Antonio Brown right now, he would sign with the Chiefs or the Cowboys tomorrow.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Cowboys.
I only say the Cowboys not because they need receivers, but they love guys who have issues. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to fantasy locks. Since I'm already far enough ahead, Graham Gano against the Washington football team. Let's go. Field goal battle. Hopefully he can chip in like a nice 40-yarder.
I hope one of these guys takes Cooper Kupp and you lose on a missed field goal at the end. I really do.
He's just so cocky with it. Like, he's so far
Really.
ahead.
How am I gonna lose? Like Zay needs to put up what, like 40 something, 50.
I had
something?
that happen with Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah, 40
Zay, who
point
you
game
taking
for-
this week?
Show him, Jace. Big game
Yeah,
this week for them. Big game. I mean, win or lose, they could be in, but you want to make sure you win. And if there's going to be one person who's probably going to get the ball, it's going to be Hunter Renfrow, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with this guy. Because even if he gets me 35, it'll be close enough.
Here's the Hunter scoring 4 touchdowns and having like 250 yards receiving.
Oh, I hope it's a shootout. You can't even believe I hope
I
it's a
wish you
shootout.
could change this to Cooper Cup. Because
I thought
is that
about that. I
a
thought about that,
possible?
but then I thought Stafford would screw me last second and hit Odell Beckham for the whole game.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I thought about that. I'm not. I'm not.
I see what you're doing here. No Ruggs, obviously. No Waller. It's got to be Renfro. All right, I like it.
Yeah,
We're hoping.
We'll see.
Especially when they fall behind in the game and they have to just start throwing the football all over the field.
Not to mention, you got to pick a guy with character at this point, because I can't rely on people to stay on the field no more. I just can't at this point.
Yeah. If the guy could make it through 3 quarters, that's all Zay's really looking for this week.
I mean, Hunter Renfrow isn't bad. I mean, Derek Carr is more or less playing for his job at this point. I mean, he's got 1 year left, and he gives up no dead money, so they can just cut him if they bring in a new GM and head coach.
And if the
Jace,
Giants don't jump on something like that, oh, stupid. Team.
Jace, if Hunter Renfrow has 4 touchdown catches, will you shave your head?
Shit, I might shave mine.
No.
Just because I put it out there.
Just because
If Hunter Renfrow has 4 touchdowns, I say we all shave our heads.
I'll go straight monk.
Okay.
If he has 4 touchdowns, I'll straight monk it. All this.
Okay.
All right. Deal.
4
Everyone's in.
touchdowns.
4
I'll
touchdowns.
get rid of all of it.
All right, Sean, you still have somewhat of a shot to get to me as well. Rashad Penny, can he get you 50 points?
I hope so. He's been on a tear lately. I almost took him last week, and then I looked at the people I picked, and I was like, I didn't pick Nick Chubb yet, so I might as well go with him. And of course, Rashad Penny goes off for like 170 and 2 touchdowns. But regardless of that, he's run for over, I think, 130 yards in 3 of the past 4 games. He's been in a tear, and I think that they're going to want to feed him the ball. So hopefully, if he scores me 50, that'll be great. Because Graham Gano, I mean, they might only get 3 points at best, so we're gonna need a 50 spot from him. But maybe who knows? I think he'll go off though. I think he'll get at least 25.
An NFL record 6 touchdown day from Rashad Penny. Wouldn't that be something?
Ties up Alvin
Yeah.
Kamara.
You say he has to grow out his unibrow. I gotta have one first. I wish I could. I actually get
Oh,
credited.
come on. That's mean.
I actually
are we
get
doing?
credited with having great eyebrows. Thank you, Jared. But sorry.
All
No
right,
unibrow here, bro.
we're wrapping it up. Joe, you took the Jags with best bets. Now you're I mean, I guess you do struggle when you pick the same, so might as well pick opposing, right?
No, listen, this is a brilliant strategy because, like I said, look, I think Jonathan Taylor's going to run for a ton of yards and he's going to score a lot of touchdowns, whatever that means. I mean, he'll probably get into the end zone, I would think, but he's probably going to run for like $140. You know what I'm saying? And because they have to win the game because they need that for positioning here, obviously. Yeah, in the playoffs. So they want to win this football game. They're just going to pound the football to this guy. Like I said, the Colts don't have a tendency to go for the jugular. And so that's why I think the game's going to end up staying closer than it should be. I think there might be a point. Yeah, but you know what? If they're up by 30 and they bench him in the third quarter, he's got $140 and 3 scores. That's why we're where we're at. So to me, it's a win-win. Jonathan Taylor is going to put up numbers. Either because he needs to stay in to win the game or because he'll have already put up huge numbers in the first half and he'll say, I like it.
I almost picked them.
But I do. I think the Jags will end up making it a game. Dude, it might be like 30-0 and then they, it ends up 30-18.
No, I mean, yeah, you're right. The Jags are Trevor Lawrence. One good thing about him, he's a beast in garbage time. Just like his predecessor,
Facts. Yes.
Gardner Minshew. It's just the Jags. The Jags are just
Get us
beast-
down by 30 and we'll lose by 8, we promise.
Don't be surprised. They shoot they load like the Jets did last week on me. I thought the Bucs were going to run them out the building. I thought the Bucs were going to run the Jets out the building. And
by the way, another Deshaun Watson reference.
Yeah. All right, that's gonna do it for John about the G-Men this week. Thankfully, next week we don't got to talk about the Giants as much because there's no Giants game to preview. Well, I'm sure we'll probably complain and just count the seconds till Gettleman and Judge are hopefully fired. But that's it. Big shout out to CTBB Realty and JPEX Financial Group for sponsoring today's episode. Make sure you go check them out. And make sure you check out clovercrestmedia.com for not just other great sports podcasts like this, but awesome true crime, political, bunch of other stuff. Go check it out, and you can always start your own podcast as well. I'm Big Jace. That's Joe Aguirre, King Zay, Sean Sandlin, and we'll see you next week to not talk about the Giants, hopefully, and just talk about quality football.
We got to talk about the loss.
No, we will. We will.
We got to talk about the loss. I'm sorry.
Less. Let's go like 20 instead of 30 minutes at least.
10.
But we'll see. We'll
Fine.
see. Well, we have playoffs to talk about as well, so we'll figure that. Oh, and next week will also be our awards.
For what? Everything goes to Graham Gano. Graham Gano. He's the best player. Best.
Right.
He's the
We'll
best.
catch you guys next week. Take care.
The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.